CnC DIY Factory Original Design Oval-Shaped Opening Frame DIY Kit. This kit can be used with the opening on the right side or the left side. I want to create a chippy vintage look on this frame, so I'm going to use the Fusion milk paint in Silhouette to create that look. The milk paint is a 1-to-1 ratio of milk paint to water. I am mixing 1 scoop of powder to 1 scoop of warm water. This needs to be mixed thoroughly. I like to use a milk frother, but you can use a spoon, a small whisk, or a craft stick to mix it up. After I set the milk paint aside for about 10 minutes to thicken up, I like to use a chip brush to paint it on. I'll apply 2 coats of milk paint and dry them between coats using a heat gun. You can let the milk paint dry on its own if you choose, but I like to dry it quickly to help the milk paint crackle and craze. I find it has a better chance of producing the effect that I want with this process. Once the milk paint is completely dry, I am adding a transfer from the IOD Sarah Featon's Botanical Transfer Set. To apply a transfer, you simply peel off the white backer sheet and lay the transfer on your surface. Then, taking the transfer tool that comes in every IOD transfer set, I will rub the transfer onto my surface, being sure to pay close attention to the small pieces that may take a little more rubbing to release from the carrier sheet. And once I have the entire transfer on my piece, I will flip the carrier sheet over and burnish the transfer into the paint. Then I'll give the transfer a little distressing with a worn piece of 220 grit sandpaper. I want to glam this up a bit with gold, so I am going to be taking bits and pieces from the IOD Gilded Transfer Etiquettes. I'm adding some of the typography around the oval opening. The gilded transfers use a little less pressure to apply, and I have found that when I rub the transfer on at the same point where I am lifting the carrier sheet, they go on a bit easier. The assembly of this frame is very simple. I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick along with Stick Fast CA glue in a thick formula, and I'm applying the glue to the back portion of the 2-piece frame so as not to have any glue show through around the oval opening on the back side. For the kickstand assembly, there are detailed instructions included with every DIY kit that has a kickstand. Also included in this kit, there are 2 picture turn fasteners with screws that will need to be added to the back of the frame to hold the back piece in. Now that the frame is completely assembled, I will seal in the milk paint and the transfers. I'm using DIY clear wax, and I will follow that up with the Howard's Chalk-Tique wax in dark to bring out all the chippy goodness of the milk paint. And to add just a little something to this frame, I'm using the DIY Golden Rule wax to add just a hint of gold around the inside of the oval frame opening, as well as around the outside edges of the entire frame. I love how this frame has a chippy neutral background with the milk paint and just a splash of color with the transfers and then a pop of gold. The dark wax toned down the bright gold in the etiquettes to an antique gold, and I really like how this turned out. I would love to know what you think of this, so please leave me a comment below of your thoughts. And if you love this frame and want one for yourself, it can be found at www.cncdiyfactory.com.